Have you ever signed divorce papers in a coffee shop while your chest feels like it might cave in from the weight of everything you didn't say soon enough? I have. The irony still guts me. We used to spend hours in coffee shops, dreaming about cities we'd live in, dogs we'd rescue, babies we might name. And then one day, we met there to say goodbye. It was raining, of course it was, one of those slow, endless rains that turns the whole world gray and reflective. She sat at the table first, nursing a latte like it was medicine. Her hands didn't shake, but mine did. There was a man behind us loudly pitching an app idea to someone in a Patagonia vest. It felt absurd. Life going on like nothing was ending. I stared at the manila folder between us, not wanting to open it. Not yet. Maybe if I waited a few more seconds, we'd remember who we used to be. But we didn't. She didn't even look at me when she said, "Let's just get it over with." We were married 8 years. Some of it was good. A lot of it was. But the cracks started early, little ones at first. Fights that should have blown over but didn't. I used to think we were both just passionate, fiery. But there's a fine line between fire and burn, and we crossed it more than once. She had this way of going quiet when she was angry. Not the calm before the storm kind, the kind that freezes you out, makes the room feel 20 degrees colder. And I'd respond by filling the silence with anger, trying to get a reaction, any reaction. One night, just 2 years in, I threw a wine glass at the wall, not near her, but not far either. It shattered, and so did something between us. She didn't yell. She just stared at the red wine dripping down the wall and said, "You know this isn't love, right?" And the worst part was, I didn't even have an answer. Sometimes, the fights were about nothing. I'd ask her to put her phone down during dinner, and she'd accuse me of controlling her. She'd ask me to be more present, and I'd tell her I was tired, that work was killing me. We'd go round and round. Nights of doors slamming, one of us on the couch, one of us pretending to sleep in a bed that felt too big. The day I missed our anniversary because of work, she didn't speak to me for 2 days. Not a word. Just slam drawers and the scraping sound of a fork on her plate. When I finally said, "I'm sorry," she looked at me like I was a stranger and said, "We're always sorry. It doesn't mean anything anymore." Sometimes, the fights got too personal. I told her she was cold. She told me I was selfish. I accused her of shutting down. She told me I never really saw her. And in those moments, we both reached for the ugliest things we could say, because we knew exactly where to cut. But it wasn't always like that. There were still soft moments, post-argument apologies curled up on opposite sides of the couch, quiet I love yous passed between gritted teeth. But those moments started to feel more like bandages than healing. We never fixed anything. We just paused the bleeding. The last real fight we had was about a trip I took alone. I told her I needed space. She said space was what people ask for when they've already given up. I packed my bag anyway. When I came back, she'd moved half her stuff into the guest room. She said, "It's easier this way." And it was. Too easy, in fact. The hardest thing wasn't ending it. It was realizing it had ended long before either of us said it out loud. So when she slid those papers across the coffee shop table, I didn't argue. I didn't ask for one last try. We had tried, God, we had tried, and failed in every way people fail when they don't know how to speak each other's language anymore. I signed first. My name looked like a lie. She signed next, without hesitation. And just like that, we were no longer a we. Now I live in a new apartment with blank walls and a bed that never feels right. I still wake up expecting to hear her in the kitchen, humming badly, the way she used to when she was in a good mood. I miss the sound of her feet on the hardwood, the way she'd curse at the coffee grinder. And I hate that I still miss those things, even after everything. But I don't miss the fights. I don't miss the exhaustion. I don't miss the version of myself I became trying to keep something alive that had already died. So yeah, I signed divorce papers in a coffee shop. And even now, months later, I sometimes sit in those places and look for her in the faces around me. Not because I want her back, but because a part of me still believes we could have done it differently, if only we'd known how. Maybe that's the worst part, not losing her, but knowing we both walked away carrying pieces of each other neither of us really knew what to do with.